All right, Shalom. Before we get started, we want to give all praises unto
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, all right, who have taught us with this truth and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai have been diligent and been great examples to continue within this truth. Okay, double honors unto them. Blessed to the elect of Yasha Allah, which consists of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And blessings and salutations to you, Akim, out there doing this truth across the four corners of the earth. Looking forward to the downfall and destruction of Babylon, also known as America today. And so today what we're going to get into is just a brief history. We're not going to go into deep, Lord willing, we will revisit the same situations, I would call them, more in depth. That way we can bring out more detail and clarity, but for time's sake, we're going to just get a few accounts in scriptures, of course. So without further ado, what you got? You got Exodus. What you got? Yes. Okay, we can start with this. Baba Kusha.
Yeah.
Start at 8.
Yeah. This is right after the children of Israel were complaining about the water. And Moses took his staff and split the rock. This is Exodus chapter 17, verse 8. Then came Amalek and fought against Israel in Rephidim, and Moses and Joshua chose us our men, and go out to fight with Amalek tomorrow. I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of the Most High in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses said to him, and fought with Amalek, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed, and when he laid down his hand, Amalek prevailed.
Yeah, and this is, a little bit coming out of Egypt. All right, so here it is. We're coming through the wilderness. The Lord is bringing us into that promised land. Okay, that was promised unto our forefathers. So we're getting into the situation where we was going to receive that. And then we handling business, and then Amalek wants to start a war with us. All right. Now Amalek, when you look into it, that's the grandson of Esau. Okay, as we all know, Genesis 25, that hatred that Esau had towards Jacob. Okay. For dealing with the blessing that he had given up, and he said that Jacob had stolen it, So he didn't receive the better blessing, and he always felt some type of way about it. And he said himself, well, when my father, passed, and I'm gonna get my brother Jacob, Now, Esau is the so-called white man, all right, the so-called white race, whatever you want to call it. We say so-called because they're not white, His brother, the side of his garment is white, all right? This notebook is white, okay? But they are pinkish, Their blood showed through their skin, so they're a derivative of red, all right? Jacob is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Jacob name was changed to Israel, which you get the 12 tribes of Israel, which consists of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? So that feud, that hatred, that friction has always been there, and we'll get a few more accounts, and it'll show you, it'll show you. So like I said, here they're going to war right now, and they seen when Moses held up the staff, we would prevail, but when he let it down, that Amalek would prevail. All right, go ahead, brother.
But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon, and Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
Yeah, and this lesson, Salakia, because I meant to mention this before, this lesson stemmed from the elder Yashawamba. He had said something. He said every time when we was up and coming, or we was in a good state or at peace, Esau would always disturb us, man. All right, he always just made it his business to deal with us. He It's that just that perpetual hatred. It's just continual. All right, you can grab it real quick.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, and verse 5. You know, to prove who it is, when you go up, it says, "I'm against thee, O Mount Seir," you know, which is a representation of the so-called white people today. So verse 5 says, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
Yep.
Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee."
Yeah, he doesn't hate blood, you know. He constantly spills it throughout the earth. Now he got to the point where his blessing was the sword, and he got nuclear bombs, and he got these different type of weapons where he ain't even got to see you to take you out. He just sends something your way, man.
Right.
Just go ahead and bomb you. All right, that's still blood on your hands, man. Okay, that's still blood that's on your hands. All right, go ahead, finish that.
Okay. Verse 13. And Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
Con. And it says that Jehovah Nissi is Yahweh Nasayah, which means Yahweh is my banner. All right. It said the name given by Moses to the altar which he built in commemoration of the discomfiture of the Amalekites. So, like he said, he was going to have war with Amalek forever. You know, and there was going to come a time where, what did it say? It said he will put out the remembrance of Amalek. Okay, now Amalek is of the stock of Edom, of stock of Esau. He's of that. All right. People try to sit here and say that, and which we're not going to get, like I said, we're not going to get too in deep of Amalek and this and that. You know, Lord willing, we will get to that. All right. But people say that the Edomites were done away with. The scriptures say there's no end to a people. All right. Now there will be an end to a people when the Heavenly Father established us in the kingdom, and after 1,000 years of slavery that is due unto them because they received double. That's just, hey, not my words, just the Bible, you know. But that will come. But since this was said until this very day, there hasn't been any people that's done away with, because you constantly have the fathers that bring back. And that's just how the Lord set it up, man. All right? But that judgment will come one day. Okay? Yep. And I will say the Amalekites are the so-called Jews. Okay? The Jewish people. And you can look in dictionaries. I think you can even Google it. And it'll show you the difference between the Israelis and the Israelites. All right? And it's the same friction. It's the same feud between those twin brothers, man. All right?
A quick precept. Job 19:29, it says, "Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment." You know, and just to bring that point out, there will be a judgment.
Yep.
Upon everyone, you know. I got that Esther.
Yeah, get that Esther.
You want to
we're gonna start at I think we're starting at 4. Esther 7. Oh, you got Esther, Salakia. Okay, yeah, 3. Yeah, 3. Yeah.
So
and you can get Judith 7. I think we starting at 4 over there. Okay.
All right, this is the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1.
It's Esther, Judith. You know, it's 2 women.
It says, Esther 3 and 1. It says, "After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the king, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him."
All right, so right quick, I just want to get this definition right quick, because it said Haman the son of Hammedatha the Agagite. Now it says, that's not right there. Dang, it's not going exactly into it. You can go ahead and read though, bro.
It says, I'll read the first verse again. It says, after these things, the king Ahasuerus promoted Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Now the Agagite goes into Agag, which means he was a king of Amalek. All right. It said he was spared by Saul but slain by Samuel. So he was the same one that Saul got into some trouble with. You know, he did everything he was supposed to do, but he didn't do what the Lord told him to do. All right, he went there and took out Amalek, but he took up the spoils and the goods to make a sacrifice unto the Heavenly Father and spared the king Agag, man. Mm-hmm. All right, so Haman is a descendant of Agag. Once again, the Edomites, man. All right, go ahead, brother.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Mm-hmm. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman, and see to see whether Mordecai his matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and throughout history, people knew, all right. Cause what was that during the was that the Persians? No, I think it was around. Yeah, it was this situation. They told them like, look, they have a history of rebellion, man. You know, cause throughout history we would rebel. Like they did it with David and the three holy children. You know what I'm saying? The Lord always had righteous and holy men who didn't bow down their knee to Baal, basically worship and idolize these other deities and these other nations, man. All right, but as you read, which we won't get, but I'll mention it now. When you dealt with Epiphanes, Antiochus Epiphanes, you had some of our people wanting to get a license to sin, pretty much. Okay. You know, trying to be like the heathen. So you always had those two sides, even between us. And this is a situation where the righteous is like, nah, like basically I'm going to serve my power, you know, and that's with us, man. Okay. And it'll come down to more drastic measures, and Lord willing, we're protected and covered in those days. But it comes down to what are you going to stand for, man? All right. Go ahead, brother.
It says, verse 5, and when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Yeah, he was mad. He didn't respect him pretty much. So he like, oh, okay. Go ahead, brother.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shewed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews.
All the Jews, go ahead.
That were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
Yeah, so that's, instead of just, he like, nah, I don't want to just take out Mordecai.
I want to kill them all.
I want to kill them all. You know what I'm saying? But that, because of what you have brought out about the blood, that's what it is, man. All right? They chase after blood, man. You don't have a problem with knocking you off. Okay?
That's the spirit, because like you said, to this very day, nothing has changed, man.
Nothing has changed. It's the same. It's the reason why you constantly have so-called white cops having police brutality predominantly on our people, man. All right?
You gotta say predominantly. White people did too. We're not talking about that, you know.
Yeah, they get hit with a nightstick and put in jail for 4 hours and let loose the next day with a $500 fine. But that don't amount to nothing of being shot. That don't amount to nothing of being unjustly incarcerated. All right, you got people that been in prison for years, decades, and oh my bad, we made a mistake. Here's $20,000 or $1 million even. Like, you took time from me.
Yeah, you can't buy that back.
You can't buy that back. You didn't lock me up. I get out. I don't know what type of world this is now.
Hey, like life.
Exactly.
Just like life, man.
Yeah.
And what that Edomite said, I don't know how to give you back 40 years. You can't.
You can't.
You can't, bro.
You know?
And guess what? The same in that movie. Guess what happened to that dude? Judgment was put upon him.
Yep.
You know?
And my granddaddy watch.
You want to continue on with this?
That
was verse 6.
Okay, con. Okay, yeah. You know, so we got the Judith, brother? Con.
This is Judith chapter 7, starting at verse 4. It says, Now the children of Israel, when they saw the multitude of them, were greatly troubled, and said every one to his neighbor, Now will these men lick up the face of the earth? For neither the high mountains, nor the valleys, nor hills are able to bear their weight. And every man took up his weapons of war, and when they had kindled fires upon their towers, they remained it and watched all that night. But in the second day, Holofernes brought forth all his horsemen in the sight of the children of Israel, which were in Bethluah.
What verse you in at?
7.
Okay, con.
And they viewed the passages up to the city, and came up, and came up to the fountains of their waters, and took them, and set garrisons of men of war over them, and he himself removed towards his people. Then came up to him all the chief of the children of Esau.
Here come Esau. Once again, go ahead.
And the governors of the people of Moab,
Mm-hmm.
and the captains of the seacoast, and said, Let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow of thine army.
I don't know why, but when I'm reading this, I'm picturing Ephialtes snitching. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm picturing Ephialtes snitching, you know?
Pictures of him.
Go ahead, brother.
For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears,
Mm-hmm.
but in the height of their mountains, wherein they dwell, because it is not an easy to come up to the top of their mountains.
Yeah, and I'm like I was telling the brother, they probably try to get at Israel and seen the tactic that they was using and like, nah, don't do it that way. But we've been thinking, we've been planning and waiting for that opportunity. They could have just been waiting for a big enough army to fight against them, you know, just in case that plan went bad. You know, that's just me speaking as a man. But nonetheless, they're telling them how to overthrow them and what they really trusting in, man. All right? Because you think of war, you like, we just got to go and fight. It's the same thing when you watch the movie 300. You like, nah, we going to let them come this way. Boom. Hit them with the shield. Hit them with the spear. And they're just going to keep coming forward, and we're going to keep on this same... This is our war tactic, man. All right? The war tactics matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why Judas Maccabeus was known as such a great warrior, because they said that he had a mind for it.
Mm-hmm. Also, what's the old boy? Hannibal?
Yeah.
Yeah, Khan. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Now therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array, and there shall not be so much as one man of thy people perish.
Mm-hmm.
Remain in thy camp, and keep all the men in thy army, and let thy servants get into their hands in the fountains of water, which issue forth of the foot of the mountain. For all the inhabitants of Bethua have their water thence, so shall thirst kill them, and they shall give up their city, and we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, and will camp upon them, and watch that none go out of the city.
What does that kind of remind you of?
When we was coming from Babylon, or trying to escape from Babylon.
No, the Romans, when they had them up
there,
and they tried to
Masada.
starve them. Yep, and they starved them out. And that's the same tactic they used.
Yeah.
You know, this is the same people, because the Romans were those same people. When you read in the book of Maccabees, and then it goes into from the Hasmonean dynasty, transitioning to the Herodian dynasty, and Herod and all of them, his father was the Edomite of Idumea. Mm-hmm. All right? So, like, he's always there.
I real quick. It's Ecclesiasticus 12 and 17.
I do it.
If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee.
Yeah, now this is more speaking like his sneakiness, you know, him trying to be slick and things like that, you know. But that's part of his tactics, man. He's always there to take us down, man. Just like with this whole situation going on, let's get it to the minorities first. They need it.
Oh, I should went to verse 16. It says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit.
But this is he's not speaking sweetly right here. He's just speaking dead on. Like, this is the way to knock them off.
Yeah.
All right, y'all gonna do that? We're gonna thirst them out, then we're gonna hide in the mountains, and we're gonna overthrow them.
That's inbred malice against a nation of people, man. You know, like.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 14. So they and their wives and their children shall be consumed with famine, and before the sword come against them, they shall be overthrown in the streets where they dwell. Thus shalt thou render them an evil reward, because they rebelled and met not thy person peaceably.
Yeah.
And these words pleased Holofernes and all of his servants, and he appointed to do as they had all spoken. So the camp of the children of Ammon departed, and with them 5,000 of the Assyrians, and they pitched in the valley and took the waters and the fountains of the waters of the children of Israel.
You ever fasted for 24 hours? You ever fasted for 48 hours? You ever fasted?
Dry fasted.
Yeah, like
that I got water.
No food, no water. Fasted for 72 hours. So on, like, so, and it's because your body's gonna be dehydrated. You know, you're gonna feel weak and everything. All right. Now it doesn't say that they wasn't eating, but they definitely was dehydrated. They cut the water source off from them.
You can't keep eating if you don't have water.
Yeah.
It's just gonna keep soaking up all your water.
Mm-hmm.
You need water for a lot of things.
It's what water 70 to 80% of your body. So they like I said, they probably been planning this for a good while. Go ahead, brother.
Then the children of Esau went up with the children of Ammon and camped at the hill. Yeah, camped at in the hill country over Dothan, and they sent some of them toward the south and toward the east, and over Ikrebel, which is near unto Chuzi, that is upon the brook of Machmor. And the rest of the army of the Assyrians camped in the plain and covered the face of the whole land, and their tents and carriages were pitched to a very great multitude. Then the children of Israel cried unto the Lord their power, because their heart failed, for all the enemies had compassed them round about, and there was no way to escape from among them.
Yeah, you know, that's a good stopping point. So here it is, like, once again, you had people trying to overthrow us, and here Esau comes in, all right, puts his 2 cents in, and like, hey, these people trust in the height of their mountains. They don't trust in their spears and their weapons, so don't fight them head on, but instead, take the water from them, you know, cut their water off, all right? Make them weak, and then we gonna creep up there too, and that way it's an easier overthrow, and you ain't gotta have none of your men be destroyed, man.
Yeah.
He like, damn, come with me, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Come with me, you know? So that's another account, okay? That's another account dealing with that, and then you, of course, like I mentioned earlier, you have the account with the with Antiochus Epiphanes. Then you got the account with the Romans, all right, 70 A.D., okay, and all the way till today, man. All right, you might be skipping a little bit in history, but what happened? Who enslaved us?
That's what I was just going to say. When we were in the west coast of Africa,
Who came?
just doing our thing.
Who came and got us? Who went out their way to come and get us, man? You know, but this man's not the devil. All right. The Lord said He's gonna have war with Amalek forever, man. All right. But He will cut them off, cut their remembrance off as well, man. Because people have a problem with the judgment of the Heavenly Father. That's what's wrong with people. You know, hey, the Lord do what he want, man.
That's it.
You got the Obadiah?
Kind of. I just had a couple precepts that came to mind. I'm going to get straight into it. Obadiah, he said, from verse 8, it says, "Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's like the brother said, this is a info war now. Can't say certain things. You got to watch what you say. You can't put certain things out, you know. But ultimately, the Lord is still destroying the wise man of Edom because this truth is out. And it's flourishing, man. It's spreading like wildfire. Mm-hmm. All right? They try to do all of their tactics. But this, hey, what I believe it was Gamaliel that said that if this was of man, it will come to naught.
Yeah.
But this, being that this is of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, it's not going to come to naught, man. Because this is not of our doing. We are just servants, ministers. All right? The Lord is the one who give us the spirit, which is that spark, which is that power to put out his word, man.
Ooh, just like with Jeremiah, he gave it, you said us. He spoke to Jeremiah, but that's the same thing. To us. Because, you know, hey, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
This is Obadiah verse 9. It says, "And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that everyone out of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter."
Everyone out of the mount of Esau, you know, may be cut off by slaughter. This is not our words. This is what the scriptures say, man. All right, like the Lord said, "Wait ye upon me, for vengeance is his." You know?
"For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever."
Constant violence, continual violence, perpetual hatred. Till this day, you got us in the ghettos, and you systematically got us killing each other, and you got our women against us. You ain't giving us proper education, proper nourishment, and then tell us we got the same rights that you have, or we got the same ability, all right, that you have. Like, no, you had 300 plus year head start, man. And some.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Let us free from being enslaved. We don't know nothing. You know what a lot of slaves did? They went back to what they know. What they knew was the plantation, man. Where you gonna go? They ain't teach you how to read, teach you how to write. They was killing you if you was reading and writing. You know? Cutting your hands off, all right? Definitely killing you if they found you with this Bible. Why? Why they didn't want you to have a Bible, man? Oh, man, that's the white man book. What book you got, nigga? What book you got that's going to get us out of this condition that we in? Yeah. There's only one way, and that's through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Waiting upon him, all right? Because it was written, all right? Because now we can... is it more to that? The Obadiah?
Yeah, that was verse 8 and that was verse 10.
Okay.
I know how far you want to get into it.
Read a couple more verses down.
This is Obadiah verse 11. It says, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem.
Enter who gates? Our gates. Who's the foreigners and the strangers? The heathen, the other nations. And you did what? You assisted them. You didn't? We just read in Judith, man. You assisted them, man. All right? You helped them out. Like it says in Psalms 137, race it to the foundation thereof. You assisted them. You was willing to destroy. You start banging with us when we came out of Egypt.
The Confederacy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the judgment that's coming is well overdue, but it's going to be on time. But it's indignation, righteous judgment, man.
Yeah.
One more.
It says, even thou was one of them, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day that thy brother, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger. Yeah. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
Yeah, when we was scattered, man, and spread throughout the four corners of the earth. You was rejoicing. You was cool. You assisted it. All right? And then you capitalized off of it because some of our tribes was over here and some was over there. And the ones that was over there, You was destroying them and putting them in captivity and slaughtering them. All right. And then after you did that after a certain amount of years, you came over here, messing with the 10 tribes that was over here. All right. Putting them in slavery. Okay. Putting them against each other. Raping the women. All right. Destroying the children. This is you. This is your history. Okay? You're just a different name, man.
Yeah.
It's just a different name. You know? And that's why the Lord created the spirits, man. Because you can't change the spirit. The Lord controls the spirit. Alright? He controls everything, of course. But y'all still got that perpetual hatred. That's why sometimes white people just seem like you might have white people, they cool with you one day, they not cool with you, they cool, you know? Because at the end of the day, it's that perpetual hatred that they have towards us, man.
That's it. It says, neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on a couple more, but that's...
No, we're going to end it with this over here.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall the end be, when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth?
Yeah, go ahead.
And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Simple as that, man. The end of this world, this society, this age, this time. All right? It's not the Lord is going to destroy the whole earth and create a new one. Like, no. He created this for a reason. It said the earth abideth forever. It's talking about that dominion, man. All right? There's going to be a beautiful transition of power through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai on his time and on, you know, and through our patience, man. All right? We just have to wait. But nonetheless, you read just these accounts we brought out alone, not even going in depth of what happened, how it happened, okay? Just bringing up these accounts, it shows you that friction goes way back, man. Goes way, and it even go further back than Genesis 25, honestly. It goes back to Cain and Abel. All right, and what Cain received, what he received for what he had done, you know, and then his descendant, for the most part, all right, you know, Esau was born with that pale skin, we'll just say, because I don't even know if we can say the M word. They might,
Right.
you know. But you can read, you know, you'll see what the M word is, man. All right? So that he can be distinguished from everybody else. Now, you do have some of our people that are lighter, or some people that are even their color and are of our people, but that's through the mixing and the mingling of the seeds and things of that nature. All right? But the seed is always according to the Father, man. That doesn't change. The mother has nothing to do with it. Only possibly the hair and eyes or skin tone, whatever, but not the spirit.
Right.
You know, not the spirit. That comes from the Father. Okay? You had something?
Yeah, it's Sirach chapter 10, verse 4. It says, The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
And in due time, the one that is profitable is Yahushua. All right, and us being joint heirs with Yahushua through the covenant and promises that was due unto us, pursuing the Romans in 9th chapter. Okay. All right, so at the end of the day, man, we almost home. You know, we almost home. There's been many accounts and many things we've overcome through the Spirit of, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and through His mercy and His grace, on down to this day. You know, and that's why we have to maintain and stay grounded within this truth and stay faithful, you know, so the Lord can cover you, because we still have to deal with Jacob's trouble. Well, who's going to bring Jacob's trouble? The Lord's sword.
Who's going to bring trouble to Jacob?
Yeah, who's always brought trouble to Jacob, you know? This is, that's the next step for the most part, all right? So, stay diligent, stay, you know, running. And keep running and keep pushing and keep fighting, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand, man. All right, kingdom of heaven is at hand. All right, with that, we want to give all praises
Unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone once again. Blessing to the elect of Yasha Allah, which consists of the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And blessings and salutations to you, Akim, out there doing this truth across the four corners of the earth. And blessings to you men, women, and children that follow. Shalom.
Shalom.